Welcome back to Season 7 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, back up in the house after my break last week.
Yay.
But holding it down for me and delivering another excellent show I got to enjoy as a fan, was Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and Mr. Evan Valentine, who are all back with me.
Yay, thanks for coming in the chat, Kofi. I feel like that's pretty freaking cool.
Hey,
you're on vacation. You're like,
Yeah,
I'm
that was
still
awesome.
on top of the chat.
Yeah, coming in the chat. Hey, yo. But yeah, I was popping in to, make sure we did everything correctly. And we are once again going to be sponsored by Global Comics, the comic service, digital comic service that gives you 100,000 comics basically for the price of one comic book. Through your gold membership, you can gain access to both new and old titles, graphic novels. You can purchase, you can read. There are exclusive deals. A Global Comics gold membership offers you all of that and more. And Marvel is now live on Global Comics. So we're kind of working like Infinity Stones now. We have DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse. We got all the major publishers on the service, and there are plenty of great things for you to check out. And as always, we let our comic guru, Matthew Aguilar, pick something. What'd you pick this week from Global Comics, buddy?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch in the MCU. And one of the things that's come up is her wanting to do House of M as a story in the MCU. So, hey, guess what? You can read the entirety of House of M at Global Comics Gold. Yes, you can check out, if you've got the subscription, you can check out the entire thing there. It's one of my favorite Marvel events, and it's a storyline that I feel like has held up really well over time. I've gone back to reread it relatively recently. I think in the past year. I went and kind of did a dive. I need to do another one. But I enjoy that story. That's actually one of the ones that I enjoy the tie-ins quite a bit. There's some really great tie-ins, including if you're a Captain Marvel fan, you should go and read that tie-in because that was great. Kind of redefine that character for another run. So yes, House of M, the iconic No More Mutants, all of that traces back to this story and so many more things that kind of happened afterwards. And I would love to see them do it right in the MCU, so fingers crossed, and you can't do that without Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch. So yeah, that is my pick this week.
All right, and what an excellent pick that is. Somewhere on the shelf behind me, I have my old physical copy of House of M, but you guys should go on Global Comics and experience it the way, because they have many great reading options. So go check that out and check out the entire service. All right. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about what's going on this week. We have the finale of Gen V Season 2. Evan has been out in the movie theaters doing some good work for horror and anime, and we're going to talk about all that. We also have some loose bits, because I know some of this stuff doesn't always fall in our wheelhouse, but we are all up on a lot of these other trending things that happen. So I'm going to talk about things like Task, HBO's Task, which also wrapped up this week, because they only let us get a little bit of time on this, but we are going to talk about that stuff as well. But up front, we had a piece of geek news that I thought Matt would get. Oh my God, I'm like tongue-tied right here. We had a piece of geek news that I thought Matt would get a kick out of, which was...
Is that the Jim Carrey and the Jetsons? Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I am excited.
Okay.
I am excited mostly because, look, if anyone's heard me ramble on about Sonic the Hedgehog and Jim Carrey's amazing ability to just completely turn Dr. Robotnik and then bring his grandfather out. I
do remember listening to this segment on... This podcast I listened to this about. Oh my God. I listened to this podcast.
We did such a good job.
Soul.
You were talking about Robotnik. You can't see him any other way. Yada, yada, yada. I remember that. All right. Never mind. I forgot. Let's keep moving on.
We're still hyped.
You guys, all you assholes looked at this thing and didn't say, nobody said anything.
I did.
3 of you.
I said it
right
before you came in.
And I thought you wanted to
that's
touch on it again.
Time. Okay.
Well,
and I thought you wanted to talk about it again.
It's like, hey, do you need help here? All right. Anyway, moving on. On TV, let's just jump right into Gen V Season 2. So, I know, Janelle, you fell off of this show, but
I'm back.
Evan, okay.
But I'm back.
Evan, Matt, did you guys finish it up?
Oh yeah,
Evan, no?
for sure.
I was too
Okay.
busy. I was sitting in the movie theater 24 hours.
That's true. I mean,
true.
and that's fair. So you'll have your time to shine in a minute. But let's talk about this. I thought Gen V Season 2 actually was a really kind of big, if not muted, success for the Boys franchise and for kind of franchise universe storytelling in general. I think this kind of show over 2 seasons has really set a blueprint, which is kind of like how to make something that is in universe, that is compelling in a different direction, but still feels connected and relevant to the main universe and is feeding back into that main universe in a very comprehensive way. And you can already see the crossover points with where now these Gen V characters aren't. This isn't going to be like a forgotten side story. This was the origin story of, a resistance army who is now going to help in the final fight against, the series' overarching villain, which of course is Homelander. So I thought that's kind of an important talking point because I don't think this show is getting the viewership it kind of deserves, because people still have this impression of like what these kind of spin-off series are, or they think it's just going to be like The Boys in college. But I think Gen V, to kind of go back to the other side of it, does a good job of dealing with like what it is. All these shows have taken this kind of stab for Gen Z, telling these stories about like what it is to be a young person coming into the world when it's this messed up and kind of dark and chaotic. But I think this show does a very good job of keeping that as its core, that it is a kind of like still an X-Men kind of story that they're doing effectively. And I liked this season that we broke out of the mold of just doing college stuff and actually got into the deeper kind of character arcs and motivations and stories. I thought some things dragged, like Maria and her sister and that whole thing kind of dragged, or things like were just weirdly out of place, like Little Cricket's love triangle story, or the frat boys and all that. Like that was kind of extraneous, but for the most part, I mean, I dug everything from our kind of where our main characters went this season. Like Marie definitely came to like a much different place where she's basically like Weapon X now. Dope. Even characters like Kate and Sam, them choosing to kind of redeem those characters and turn them around instead of just making them villains to, settle a score with, or the traditional thing we would see in these shows, was great. And of course, MVP of the season was, for me, Hamish Linklater, who's just been killing it, whether he's voicing Batman and Cape Crusader or acting in this show. Like, I mean, the flip of him in this final episode and, the other character he got to play was just hilarious. And this show, like I said, I think what I really was impressed by was the points at which they chose to use the Boys crossovers and how effective each of those was. Like in this show so far, we've basically gotten most of the roster, or at least the superhero vault roster of the Boys appearing in the show. Like Homelander's in season 1, the Deeps, I think, in both seasons. We got Black Noir in this season. Like, what's her name?
We got Starlight.
Sister Sage, Starlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically every superpowered, person except for Carl. And Carl Urban was in the first season, wasn't he? He appeared at the end. So yeah, we've had like most of the major players from the show pop in the show, never overbearingly, but just enough to make relevant connections. And how the first season and the virus development slid into the Boys' new season was cool, and how it slid back into this season and how it's going to slide back into this last season, I thought it was pretty dope. But like I said, I don't think the show's getting the viewership it deserves, but for me, there is still kind of reason enough to continue the Boys universe after the Boys. And I don't know if maybe taking away some and, having not being oversaturated by it will help something like Gen V if they even get a season 3 or what that would look like. But yeah, what do you guys think? I've talked for a long time. My jaw's hurt. Matt.
So I saw a lot of, like, we've been talking a lot about finales, right, recently, and some of them have not landed as well as others. And I did see some discussion of like, another like disappointing finale, and I disagree with that. I thought I enjoyed this.
People are saying that?
Yes, I've seen that. Oh, here we go again. There's another dud finale. I was like, I don't know what show you're watching.
This is the best.
I watched other finales. I watched other finales that were duds.
I think this and Andor are the only two that I would say this year, like,
I've kind of nailed it this year.
Kind of nailed the finales. Last of Us was a
dud.
Was
awesome.
Or Marvel Zombies, I guess. But
okay, yeah, Marvel Zombies too. Yeah, that was excellent all around. It's kind of just a weird side thing here, but yes, I agree. That one too. But like, I thought they did a great job of wrapping up kind of the bigger stories. You get I thought a great fight that really, like, one of the things we kind of knock on The Boys for sometimes is just being like, grotesque or weird for the sake of it and shock value and stuff. But I thought they did such a good job of weaving in everyone's powers to where they actually felt like a team. And yes, there were crazy sequences of like teleporting from butts and all that kind of thing, but I thought they did it so well of like, they actually made it all make sense of like, oh, here's why we're seeing this. It's not just to put something weird on the screen. It's part of this whole plan. And by the way, it works. And I just thought they did a really good job of like coordinating all of that. And then we get kind of another twist there, but everything pays off. I thought in a really like logical but also satisfying way. I just, I really enjoyed this. And I do think this is one of the shows that, kind of to what you were saying before, like the blueprint of how you weave in a side story and make it feel important and make it feel relevant. But again, Gen V didn't mess with what The Boys had going on. And likewise, the way we see things wrap up here, it will feed into season 5 of The Boys. But again, it's not going to overwhelm it. We're going to get moments to shine, but it doesn't feel like, like all of a sudden it becomes critical viewing. They've really walked that line really well. And I'm excited to kind of see, again, this new rebellion and these characters worked into the mix. That, to me, that actually makes The Boys season 5 more exciting. This is like an additional factor that I think it probably needed a little bit of that, because they bring some fresh energy to things. We all know it's Homelander versus Butcher, and that's what everyone wants to see, that final kind of throwdown. But these people make that whole scenario much richer for me. So yeah, I dug it. And I think look, they were very intentional in the way they ended this. You could have said this is a series finale. They even say like, they even make a point to be like, are we coming back? And they're like, don't plan on it. Like, okay, like they made sure to leave it to where, like, if they don't get a season 3, this acts as a pretty decent series finale. It would be a bummer to see it end here, because I do think there's more story to tell. But if it does end, it could end in a way worse way. It's not like the series was cut off mid-story or something. So we'll see how it goes. But I enjoyed it. I thought they landed the plane. Yeah,
there's a couple notes. Like, it was. We talk about the weird powers and all the kind of crazy people they had in this season, but like, they did kind of do a weird Morlocks flip where it was the powers that were deemed kind of unsuperior came together to kind of kick, Godolkin's butt at the end, which was nice to see. There's also some prevailing theories that how this ties in will be kind of well woven, that, and this is just theory, of course, I don't know nothing. We don't know nothing about The Boys season 5, but that Marie will be the kind of key that finally puts Butcher and Homelander on an even playing field to have like either big superpowered fight, or like she reactivates the V in his blood, or she takes the V out of Homelander's blood and it's just two dudes now. And Butcher's going to be like, oh, like, yeah. And then the last of this will just be some horrible Peter Griffin versus the chicken fight, you know.
Yeah,
Peter,
Peter,
like all over the like
the
so
chicken.
yeah.
R.I.P. the chicken. He's dead.
There's also a prevailing theory that you could
don't
do a
believe it.
Gen V season 3 as a kind of epilogue to the entire boys universe by like exploring how these kids have to now become, you know, essentially go from Teen Titans to Justice League and what that means for them in the future, which would be a kind of like nice little poignant send off for this, which would just be, you know, setting these kids up to deal with the future. Yeah, I mean, we could see. Janelle, you hopped back in after a minute off. So were you happy you did, or are you even more upset with us now?
Well, this has a lot to do with the fact that there's not a lot of geek stuff on TV right now. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of this is luckily like this is here, and I think that works in their favor of, you know, there's a lot of horror, but there's not a lot of like superhero content out right now. And so the timing is really, really good for them. I have not reached the finale yet because last week, was it last week? No, it was 2 weeks ago. Our listeners were like, you're really missing out. You really need to watch this. And so I finally was like, okay, I'm coming back around. I'm going to watch this. And I'm actually really glad I am. I think the thing that really brought me back in is those appearances from the characters I'm already familiar with from the boys. Like, I think you said that perfectly. It's not too much. It's sprinkled in there and it ties it all together. And I really do kind of now feel like if you aren't watching Gen V with the boys, you're going to miss the story. Like it's not going to have a payoff the way you would like with Homelander. So I am glad I'm back in. And it is surprising me because I think I just needed to reset and start over again. I was just getting too much of it. But now that I took a little bit of a break, I'm actually enjoying binging it, surprisingly. And I'm glad I'm watching it again. And I think they're doing a really fabulous job. I'm kind of with Matt on this. Like, I can't believe this, but I'm really into it now again. I'm like finding favorite characters and moments. And I am really looking forward to the finale. I think I'm like one episode away, honestly. I was like, dang it, I can't make it. I was trying to watch it this morning. But yeah, I'm glad to be watching it again. And yeah, I think I think there is a place for this, and I'm glad it does exist.
Okay. There you have it. Evan, you said you're not into it. You're off the boys.
Yeah, well, no. So I have
just
like,
busy.
no, yeah, I'm busy, but also like, so I'm a couple episodes behind, and I will say, like, one of the things, and this is my complaint I had with the second season originally, is that I really enjoyed the first season, and one of the reasons that I really did was that it kind of explored a lot of the unseen territory of this world. One of the things that I really enjoyed from season one was like the stuff that wasn't as impactful to the world at large, the PR battles, the you know, all of these kids trying to make it to the top of the ladder. Like, one of my favorite storylines, one of my favorite side storylines from season two was the scenes of the coffee shop worker who was like the regular human coffee shop worker who kept having to deal with someone putting up the resist sign on her, and her freaking out about that. I thought that was such an interesting, like, she can't find another job, so she has to work in this one where her life is hanging in the balance and stuff like that. And the second season of Gen V kind of takes a little more time to focus on like the more conspiracy stuff and kind of bringing it more into the, like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, which is looking at, you know, it is kind of more essential to the boys as a whole. And in that, I felt like it kind of lost a little bit from season one, where the conspiracy was more in the background and it was more about, you know, the characters themselves, whereas I kind of felt that was flipped on its head here. Maybe that's changed in the episodes that I haven't seen. It sounds like it didn't, which is fine. I think that, like, I don't know, does anybody know? This hasn't been confirmed for like a season 3. Have they like talked about anything in
They
terms
said
of like...
essentially that it is up to ratings.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
if it gets the viewership, yeah, if it gets the viewership, but it's also like, it was also very much a, hey, you need to watch it.
It means we're thinking
Like,
of killing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you better save it.
It's
That's what they just
on
said.
the bubble very much.
So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed it keeps going. I think like it would be very interesting to see, and obviously we're gonna have Vought Rising and The Boys Mexico are gonna be coming out after The Boys ends, I think. But it would be interesting to see Gen V keep going after the main series ends and like where those characters go. The idea of them like stepping up to create a new seven, like the Teen Titans becoming the Justice League, is a very interesting premise. So like I would be down for that. The foibles aside from season 2, I still enjoy Gen V. I think it's worth watching. So yeah.
All right. So that's about it. We are looking forward to The Boys season 5, which will be out, I think, sometime, next year. So, yeah, it's getting interesting out here with what's going on in these studios, though. I mean, the quiet part that nobody's saying out loud is, the state of the entertainment industry is shrinking right now. Like, we have content and all these streaming wars are dying off. People are thinking about former ops are thinking about linking up. I'm like, what in the enough is enough, this time Paramount, Warner Brothers thing. So yeah, I mean, it's shrinking down, bro. The money's going. People are consolidating. The content levels are dropping. So we'll see. We shall see.
What is the time frame that you put on? Because I'm putting like 6 months. Warner Brothers will be part of someone else. Like I feel like
oh
that
yeah,
clock is just,
I mean it's already happening. They got everybody clicking the numbers, so it's just a matter of time. Zaslav ain't about this life. He's getting out of here, man. He's had enough of y'all talking about him every day. He wants to punch too many of y'all in the face. He's gonna, he's like, I gotta get out of here.
That's awesome.
Come get these hands, David.
go on the Zaslav revenge tour.
You think I'm kidding? Like that man's nuts.
Oh,
He's probably he is seriously probably just sitting there like I'm gonna kill one of these people. Like they're hunting from sport pretty soon if I don't get out of here. Some people are not built for this business. So anyway, somehow we got to Zaslav off that. But yeah, Gen V is on Amazon Prime Video. Go check it out. Season 2 worth a watch. I think we can all agree. I'm going to talk a little bit about what else is on TV real quick. Did anybody else watch Task? Was I the only one who watched Task?
My husband's watching it and he's loving it.
Dude, Task is the best, man. Task is from what is his name? Inglesby.
He said I shouldn't watch it though. He said it's not a you show.
Oh no, I mean it has child abduction, it has all kinds of stuff in it.
He said don't watch it.
You don't want to deal with that. But Task is from the maker of Mayor of Easttown, Brad Inglesby. This guy is Pennsylvania based. He's from PA. I'm from PA. Yeah, he grew up in Berwyn. Berwyn. Oh my God. He's from Radnor High School. And then went to Villanova. Bro, you never left Pennsylvania. Brad, my guy, you have never. This guy went to. Okay, I'm freaking out, but all these Archbishop John Carroll. Yeah, these are all places from around me. So he grew up basically around me, a year above me. Okay, yeah. So this dude was. Oh my God, this guy was hanging around our town this entire time. I had no idea this guy existed. All right. So shout out to you. You're very successful now, Brad. Shout out to you. Hometown boy, mix good. Yeah. I live down the street from Villanova. That's where I grew up. And Radnor is where the cops were always trying to bust me, but never did. So let's talk about Task. Wow. So Mayor of Easttown was about small town PA, like where my wife is from and all that, and a murder mystery. Kate Winslet played a detective. So these shows are very just about Pennsylvania life, Pennsylvania culture. It's steeped in this. And yeah, we have roving gangs and, Nazis and all this crazy stuff lurking out in Pennsylvania. The Dark Hearts, yeah. But this show really kind of got into that. It's about a man named Robbie who is played by our boy Tom Pelphrey from Iron Fist and a bunch of other, and Ozark. He was Homegirl's brother in Ozark who had the drug problem. He's a really great actor. And Mark Ruffalo, of course, our Hulk. And so it's about Mark Ruffalo's an FBI agent, and Tom Pelphrey's character is the brother of this former biker gang guy that got killed by the gang killed him. And so he starts robbing the gang's drug houses with his kind of buddies as a revenge for this. And things go awry when one of the houses has something they don't expect, which is a little kid that they have to then take with them, and try to keep off the grid. And it becomes, naturally a huge news story, but then the biker gang is in on it, and then the drugs get involved, and it starts to spiral more and more out of control, until it becomes a big violent mess by the end. And this show was excellent. It was an excellent cast. Ruffalo, Pelphrey, Amelia Jones from Coda, and Rumor. If you haven't watched that, it's on Hulu. That movie about Rumor Willis, the real life kind of whistleblower from the NSA. She played that role, and that's a really kind of crazy movie, but she's in it. Fabian Frankel, Sir Kristen Cole is in this, and will blow your mind. Because if you think he's just Sir Kristen Cole and you're like, I don't like that guy, he's slimy. Like in this show, he is nuts. And there are scenes that a lot of these people might be up for like Emmys and stuff. But yeah, and the people who play the bikers, Jamie McShane, great cast. Like every episode had you on the edge of your seat. Oh yeah, I never got into Banshee, but Pelphrey was also one of the breakout stars of Banshee, along with Anthony Starr, Homelander. So yeah, a lot of great English actors, strangely playing Pennsylvania people in this, but they do a good job, from the accents to just the culture. And like I said, every episode had you on the edge of your seat, scared, like, oh my God. It got you invested in these characters and what would happen to them, so that anything that did happen was like deeply impactful. And yeah, it's just another great HBO prestige series, and probably one of the best of the year, which is saying something. But yeah, Task was really up there, and I expect to see it at awards time. And just wonderfully told story. And Brad Inglesby is just killing it out here. Even in Mayor of Easttown even has scenes at the college I grew up on, which is crazy. But yeah, good for him. So that was on HBO Max. So if you want something to do this Halloween season and you're not in horror, that kind of thing, but you like your heart beating a little bit faster, check out Task as a great thriller. I also checked out that Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake on Hulu, because the original with Rebecca De Mornay is, we won't talk about my unhealthy obsession with Rebecca De Mornay after, Risky Business, Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Like, yeah, I had some problems when I was growing up, but it is now a film that's been remade. It's streaming on Hulu. It stars your girl Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is like has this like blonde kind of girl hawk in this, almost like, or crop like peak top. And I didn't even recognize her for the first, because I didn't look up anything about this movie. I had no idea it was out until Hulu just put it out, and I was like, okay, pressed play. I didn't realize it was her. But Mika Monroe from Long Legs is the kind of the nanny who comes, the crazy nanny who comes, au pair, starts living with them in this one. And what can I say? This was a remake. They tried to do a quote unquote modern remake of this, and try to flip some things around. I'm not sure if they actually knew what the hell kind of story they wanted to tell ultimately, because it just kind of gets muddled. It's also one of those stories where they do the twist, and like by the end kind of just makes the whole thing very confusing, because you're like, wait, what? Who? What? Like, am I rooting for this? It's like, yeah, it's not a straight up anymore like, oh, crazy nanny comes to live with, idyllic family and wants to kind of basically, whatever, cuck out the wife and take her place, right? Like, it's not that straightforward in this one. So what they try to do between these two women and the story they're trying to tell doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and they kind of unfairly put it on the performers to act out. It's like one of those Carol Danvers things, like you got to act out somebody who's actually hiding something, or is, incapable of accessing their full emotional spectrum and stuff like that. Like, that kind of weird stuff. So kind of a weird one, but you know, Mika Monroe and Mary Elizabeth Winstead are both freaking fantastic. So there is that kind of erotic thriller heat still to it, and a lot of it for at least the first 2/3. It's the last third where it all kind of falls apart, and I'm like, okay, I know why you put this on streaming. Yeah, because there's one of those Shyamalan twists that you're like, okay, cool, but this then makes no sense. The rest of this movie. So you know, it's there if you want to check it out. Yeah, Evan.
I do have, so I haven't seen it, but I do have a Mary Elizabeth Winstead story to share, which is I actually interviewed her for Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the Netflix anime series, because she was in the original movie and she returned to do her voice as Ramona Flowers in that. And I talked with her about it, and it was only until after the interview was done. And I think, like, for folks who have interviewed people here, like, there are sometimes you have regrets in terms of things you didn't ask. And after the interview was done, I totally forgot that she was in The Thing, the 2011 one, the one that was like the prequel to the John Carpenter's The Thing. And I totally forgot to ask her about that. And to this day, I'm like, that's one of my biggest regrets in terms of when, yeah, Juden Foster in the comments, can we get more Scott Pilgrim? There is a video game coming out.
No.
And yeah, also no, they will not make a second season to that anime, unfortunately. But it was really good. But yeah, that was my Mary Elizabeth Winstead story.
That was a lot better than I thought we could have gone with that. But yeah, all right. So Task is out. Hand the Racks to Cradle are out. That's on streaming. We're going to take a break. When we get back, Mr. Evan Valentine is going to tell you about what's going on in theaters this week. Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
We are back, but I didn't quite chew the rest of my breakfast sandwich fully. So, Evan Valentine, you're up. What's at the theaters this week?
I will hand off the breakfast baton to me. Yeah, so I was able to see two movies this week, and the first of which is a little ditty about a young teenager who falls in love, like many young teenagers do, and like many young teenagers, just happens to have a chainsaw dog that has replaced his heart. I am, of course, talking about Chainsaw Man, the movie, the Reze arc. This is a continuation of Chainsaw Man, the anime's first season. It starts off almost immediately where the first season had left off. And one of the reasons that I was so happy to talk about this is, number one, this movie is fantastic. And I will say that this is one of the most fun times I've had in a theater this year. It is absolute. It's kind of, because I was talking with Matt and Janelle before the podcast started, and one of the things that I was really surprised about is how this movie is not only absolutely insane in terms of the action. City blocks are completely blown up. There are scenes of, and you can see them in the trailer playing, of Denji riding on top of a shark creature as he fights against a giant baby that is made of intestines who has the ability to control tornadoes. It is wild. But also, It is a very compelling romantic story. There is an amazing romance element to this that is actually like really, really thoughtful and is able to really create a compelling story. I think that even if you do not know what Chainsaw Man is or the story of this, and it's still worth seeing in a theater. I think like it's an hour and 40 minutes. It roars onto the screen. See it in the biggest screen possible. To give you kind of a very quick breakdown of what this world is, this world is one that is populated with things called devils, which are each the representation of different things that mankind fears. And the more that mankind fears said things such as chainsaws, bombs, wars, guns, the stronger said devil becomes. And so and everybody here, I believe, because I remember us talking about it maybe like a year ago, uh, kind of saw, I don't know if everybody saw the first season, but I think everybody at least saw the first episode, which Matt's legendary love of Pochita, the chainsaw dog, cannot be denied. He is just this adorable. Pochita does have a role in this. You don't see him that often. He does show up a little bit. But this is when I reviewed this for the site, read my review on Comicbook.com now. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It is an amazing experience. Currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is a roller coaster. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle came out earlier this year. I would say that this blows that out of the water, which I kind of wasn't expecting. But this is just a fun, insane roller coaster. There are usually movies where I'm like, okay, maybe you can skip it when it's in the theaters and you can see it when it comes, to streaming. See this on the biggest screen possible. It is absolutely amazing. Everybody, do you have questions, concerns, comments on Chainsaw Man fighting the bomb devil?
I have concerns about how much power stuff starts showing up in my algos still. I gotta take care of that.
Power, the blood devil. Yes.
Yeah.
She has a role in this for sure.
Yeah,
For
the
those
power memes get a little out of control. Some of y'all out there are wilding with the power memes. It goes out my algos. No, I want to go see this. I just was too tired last night to kind of drag myself out to the theater to go see it. I didn't want to like be nodding off in the theater. Not for this one. I love Chainsaw Man. This is a big kind of. It's crazy to hear you say it blows Infinity Castle out of the water. It just feels like every couple weeks now we're just like there's a new anime movie milestone. We're like, well, that's the new big one, and we're like, and that's not me dogging on anime. It is bringing up the question though: has anime kind of crossed a threshold where these TV series are going to be enough of the spectacle anymore? Like it's beginning to feel like we're getting a taste for, IMAX premium format, getting like a whole bunch of these arcs or just storylines kind of done in a feature length telling with that visual component now blown up quite literally to the biggest premium formats, which anime, if you don't know your actual Japanese history, a lot of this is steeped in the quality of the artistic product and the spectacle of the artistic product. If you've never seen Akira like on the big screen, somebody drew every single little light and building in those city backgroundscapes, like insane. And when you see it blown up, you're like, holy, like, whoa, like, yeah, that thing is legendary for a reason. Like, you can't fake that. A computer can't do that. But yeah, these are now becoming like movie event level things. So can we still do it on a TV budget in a TV format on your phones and stuff like that? Like, it seems like we might be crossing the threshold here.
Yeah, there's so I mentioned Infinity Castle a little earlier, but Demon Slayer as a whole was actually the thing that, because Demon Slayer Mugen Train, the first film of that franchise, became the biggest anime film of all time. It made like close to, I think it made over $500 million on a budget that's maybe like, I don't know, 15 to 20 million tops. And so like I know Chainsaw Man has already made back its budget and then some before even hitting North America. So that's kind of why more franchises are tending to kind of move in the direction of going to theaters versus just staying on TV screens. I know that I had actually talked at this year's Anime Expo. I talked with the CEO and president of Studio Mappa, the production house that did Chainsaw Man and made this movie. And they definitely took that into consideration. I mean, there's definitely money to be made when it comes to bringing franchises and making movies of them versus just creating a television series. But with all that being said, Matt, did you have questions about Pochita? Did you have questions? Did you have questions about the chainsaw dog?
Also, shout out to Bubba Black. You sold me on cute chainsaw dog. Yeah, you should look. That's what sold me when this show first came on. I was like, oh, like I dabble, right? I dip my toe in sometimes, and then I was like, okay, well, the core design looks awesome, dude, with a giant chainsaw coming out of his face. But then you got cute chainsaw dog, and that's what sold me. And
it's all the marks
awesome
for you. Yeah,
yeah. It really did. No helmets, evidently.
Well, Chainsaw Man technically does have a helmet. I mean, his thing is the motor of a chainsaw. It's kind of a helmeted deal.
You lost me at like an intestine baby.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Nuts.
nothing like a good intestine baby creating tornadoes.
Hey, that baby's thriving. Yeah, that
baby tornado it's actually the typhoon devil. Yeah, and he's thriving.
What is the deal with like
dip my
giant
toe
babies?
in anime?
What is the deal with giant
we got baby Joey too?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah,
we got a lot of babies.
He's green
in these big.
No, I mean, anime likes to creep you out with things by turning like the wholesome into the grotesque. And like,
yeah, there is something I wanted to mention is that like this movie kind of feels like a perfect Halloween movie, because the villain of the movie is the Bomb Devil, and the Bomb Devil, without going into spoilers, has a very intricate part to play in Denji's story, but also is a terrifying slasher villain kind of feel. Considering she is made up of bombs, she has a bomb for a head. There are some really there's this amazingly horrifying scene where, so much like Denji, for those who don't know how Denji activates his powers, is that he has a ripcord that's attached to his chest that he pulls in order to like rev up a chainsaw, and the chainsaw bursts out of his face. The Bomb Devil works in kind of a similar way, where she has what is effectively a grenade pin in the side of her neck that she pulls, tosses it away, and her head explodes off her shoulders. And so in one very scary scene, she does that. Her head pops off of her shoulders. She picks up her own head, tosses it through the window of a nearby building, and her head explodes, completely destroying the building and the people that are inside. It's absolutely crazy. Like, that's one of the things, is that seeing this movie on a big screen is like, you will not believe the things that happen in this movie. Yeah,
sold.
If hopefully I am selling this movie to people.
Stop spoiling. I want to see this stuff. I need to be able to be like,
oh, I am not. I'm barely scratching the surface on Chainsaw Man, the movie, the Reze arc. But it also, like, we don't necessarily know right now. Studio Mappa has not confirmed whether or not they're going to keep Chainsaw Man on the silver screen, or whether or not, I think, like, for those who I've read, like, I think me and Kofi have read a lot of the original manga for Chainsaw Man, and the next story arc, the Bomb Devil arc, which this is, kind of lends itself to be a movie, because it kind of has the perfect arc length in terms of like having an hour and a half, hour and 40-minute long movie. But the one after that kind of doesn't lend itself to that. So like making a season 2 would kind of work a little bit better, but we'll see. Maybe they'll split it up into a series of movies or what have you. But yeah, see this, even if you don't know about Chainsaw Man the movie, or Chainsaw Man the series, see this movie in a theater. It is really, like, you will have such a fun time with it. I had such a blast with this. Like, I would say, like, not only is it one of my favorite anime movies of the year. It's I would probably put it in my top 10. I think maybe like would I put it in my top 5? Like maybe like number 6 or 7. But yeah, no, it's really I had so much fun with this. Go see it in a theater.
Well, I don't know why you're stopping to talk. You got to keep going.
I gotta keep going. We're gonna
I'm not
immediately
promoting this other movie.
I'm doing double duty today. Yeah, so another movie I saw in a preview screening earlier this week was a horror movie that is called Shelby Oaks. Shelby Oaks, of course, has a lot of groundswell around it because it was made by YouTuber Chris Stuckman. Shout out Chris Stuckman, who went from reviewing movies to creating a movie of his own. He had a Kickstarter campaign originally.
My old buddy from Screen Junkies Plus.
Oh, that's cool. You have some background. Yeah, some shared history in that.
We've never met. There was a period of time in here when I first started, when I came over from Screen Rant and started a comic book where people were really all about this pivot to video movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I was straight up told several times that my value in the industry was not as high because I was not a YouTuber like Chris Stuckman or Jeremy Johns or the likes of them. And I was like, okay.
Not a YouTuber, man. You gotta get.
Yeah. I had only been around for
you are now
8 years, like helping fandom get established as a payable industry, but sure. I wasn't on YouTube running my goddamn mouth like everybody else. You're correct. I took time to actually write my stuff down and edit it and be like, maybe I can do this a little bit better. But shout out to all the YouTubers. My son loves you too. So, and you guys, I'm sure, have made all the money and it's all great. But it's a great world we're living in too. So it all worked out. So yay. Anyway, how's the movie?
Yeah. So Shelby Oaks, it was originally made for the crowdfunding campaign had originally made, I believe, like about 1.5 million. It was then purchased by Neon and A24, and then executive producer Mike Flanagan, who folks might know for his amazing series such as the House on Haunting Hill, the Haunting of Hill House, the Haunting of Bly Manor.
People really got to stop putting haunting and house.
Yeah, dude, I was trying to remember.
Like
there's way too many.
I was like, the Haunting of Hill House. No, it's a separate thing. The House on Haunted Hill.
You mentioned like 4 projects in that one stream of consciousness and 2 games.
But
I've just gone to Black Mass. Like that's the Johnny Depp movie.
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass. Black Mass is the Johnny Depp movie. Oh man,
Mass. Yeah. Oh, dude, there's so many different titles. But actually, like I really loved Midnight Mass. But anyway, Mike Flanagan came on board and helped him kind of use an executive producer on this. I think they went back and kind of filmed a couple of scenes that kind of added a little more Hollywood spooky effects to this. Now, as to the movie itself, number one, I'm going to preface this by saying this is a good horror movie. I think that this is a solid horror movie. I think that Chris Stuckman actually does a lot of really cool, interesting stuff here where he is able to kind of there's 2 running plot lines here. There's the plot line of Riley Brennan, who was a YouTuber herself. She created a paranormal investigator YouTube series that resulted in her disappearance, as long as with her friends that were a part of the Paranormal Paranoids. And there was this groundswell and mystery in the movie of like what happened to Riley Brennan. 12 years later, Riley's sister, Mia, kind of is still looking for her sister while her personal life spirals out of control because of the tragedy of what happened to her sister, and like what happened kind of it has become like this ever encroaching force. And lo and behold, supernatural forces are at play. And while I do think that this movie really works in terms of like this, for a freshman offering from a new filmmaker, I think this was a really strong showing from Chris Stuckman. I thought that this had a lot of really interesting elements to it. Chris has gone on a lot when it comes to being raised in the Mormon religion and how he kind of had to be ostracized from the church because of his love of movies and like his love of horror movies and reviewing them. And there are elements that play here from that he's able, there is a personal element of that. And I think some of the criticisms that I had are actually surprising to me in the fact that I kind of wish that this didn't have more of the Hollywood elements. There are some, because the found footage elements of this movie are, I felt, were kind of way more compelling than more of the Hollywood, like clean, crisp, supernatural stuff versus more of the elements of like what had happened to Riley Brennan and the horror, because there are comparisons to be made with like the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity. And I thought like Stuckman's work here kind of worked best when it was kind of focusing on more of the spookier ground level stuff versus because there is like, this doesn't really spoil anything because it's shown in the trailers, but there is like a supernatural creature in this. And I felt, for me, that creature is not, you never quite see that creature like fully. It's kind of like, but like you see it kind of in the background, but it's there and it's a monster and it looks creepy. But like I felt that if they had taken more of a Blair Witch route in terms of it's mentioned but you never see it, that would have been stronger. I think that one thing that I kind of thought about when I was watching this movie is that, has anybody else here seen the movie called Lake Mungo or anything? Okay, well, it's a really, it's kind of one of the creepiest movies ever made. If you want to see a really scary movie, it's kind of done more in a documentary style, that you start to realize as you watch it that it's like there are creepier elements that you didn't even see. And I think the best parts of Shelby Oaks is when it's kind of close to that. For folks in the chat, if you want to see a really scary horror movie that you haven't seen, check out Lake Mungo. It sends shivers down your spine. I did have nightmares from that movie, which doesn't happen that much. And so I think that, like, if you are a fan of found footage
Wrap up
movies,
Stuckman's promotion.
if you are a fan of found footage movies in general, like check out Shelby Oaks. There are some really creepy elements to it. I thought that, like, would it make my top 5 horror movies of the year? No, but that's because this year for horror has just been so amazing. Like stuff like Sinners, Weapons, Together, and a couple of others have really knocked it out of the park. And I think that, like, if you are a fan of found footage stuff, if you're looking for another horror movie to see, and you have already seen like Conjuring: The Last Rites, you've already seen Black Phone 2, check out Shelby Oaks. But this also feels like a movie that, like, if you're too busy and you want to wait for it to be on streaming, I would say that's fine. I don't think this is one that like demands that you immediately see it in theaters. Go see Chainsaw Man in theaters. But for Shelby Oaks, yeah, it's not any.
And there you have it. Go see it on streaming. Yeah. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
any questions, concerns, comments about Chris Stuckman?
No, we're giving him way too much free promotion on this podcast. Let's move on. Yeah. So, comics, what's up? Where you guys want to start?
We're gonna let's get into. Oh man, this was a great week for books, and we're gonna start with Absolute Wonder Woman number 13, called The Price. I don't know why I said it creepy like that. We're just dipping into the horror themes here. But here's the thing. Oh, sorry. The cover jarred me for a second.
Yeah, same. I was like, wait, I read the right one?
Wait, I was like, did I talk about it? Absolute Wonder Woman number 13 we're starting a brand. We're bringing a lot of things from that kind of first 12 issues. We're stepping out of that into a new arc. But we very much are dealing with, a lot of the fallout and things from the last story. But here is where I feel like all of the Paradise Island, Themyscira, Amazon stuff that we kind of established in like the first 6 issues is really coming back around. And I adored this issue. We actually get and I want to make sure I pronounce the name correctly. Matthias Bergara is the artist on this. I thought, my word, like teamed up with Jordi Belair and Becca Carey. Like this, the artwork on this book is, I just love the style. I think it just fits with the story we're telling. This entity that we aren't sure Wonder Woman, like she's facing, and it's one of the rare times we see Wonder Woman unable to get a handle on an opponent, right? She pretty much is like, even times when she falters or whatever, she's able to regroup midway, and you're used to kind of seeing her adapt. And this one is one of the ones where it's like, no matter what she does, you're seeing this opponent get the better of her. That's really interesting. We get a lot of great movement on the Etta Candy and Barbara Minerva relationship as that moves on, and as we kind of get into this fun, like investigative journalist almost angle throughout parts of the issue. There's just so much going on here. And then, without, obviously, I probably don't want to spoil this one, because it's one really like the journey, and then when the last like 2 pages hit, I have a lot of questions, but obviously those are going to get answered, so I won't spoil that. But that does kind of turn what you're looking at, very much inverts it and has you questioning things and wanting to see where this goes from here, because I did not kind of see that part coming. So I just, man, I adore this book. It's no secret that Absolute Wonder Woman is just one of my favorite books in comics right now. But I love where we're going here. I think we're, even if you did, I know Kofi didn't love the last arc, but even if you didn't love the last arc, I feel like anyway, this is kind of maybe getting back to what kind of that first 6 issues was doing. But I don't know, maybe I'm off base. Kofi, did you like this more?
Yeah, I'm back in. Okay. This is back to more my speed. This is kind of like me getting to see this version of Diana. Kind of, I like it better when we're in the real world as a counterbalance, or have real world elements around us as a counterbalance, as opposed to going kind of full fantasy like in the Minotaur arc. So yeah, I need these side characters. I need the Steve Trevors, the Etta Candys, because a lot of this to me is the juxtaposition of this still being Diana, but this slightly tweaked version that is more confident, kind of more, not gritty or edgy, but like she's more of that warrior stuff, sorceress stuff in her is much stronger in this version of the character than the kind of Superman flip of the traditional Wonder Woman character. So yeah, and her origin in this, like this, I was more into this, like her talking about in that opening scene about what Themyscira meant to her,
Yeah,
as this feeling. And there's a lot in this book, this issue, about feelings, gut instinct, stuff like that, senses of, or these things that are always just on the fringe of your mind. I respond to that, like, those things people say, like past life memories or something like that, or just this feeling of, oh, there's something I feel like there's compelled, like hanging over me, but I don't quite know what it is. That type of stuff you go to church for, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but this is doing that in an interesting way that also kind of leaves room for some fun twists, based on DC lore, again, revamped for this universe. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. And then and I don't want to spoil the ending, because to pull off this kind of ending in with something that we like literally criticize superheroes stories for doing so much these days, in terms of like villains and how they do that and all that, Kelly Thompson actually pulls it off in a compelling way in this issue. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's the way you do this. And it just shows, again, there's that old adage, that they teach us when you go to like writing school. It's like, there's only so many ideas, but it's just however if you can express the idea very well and tell the story very well, there's nothing you can't do, no matter how many times it's been done. Like, no matter what, you're going to find a way to do it in a compelling way. And this was a compelling way. And it also did the job of really connecting us to Diana through inner monologue, and kind of really putting us in her thoughts in this version of Wonder Woman's kind of mind. Yeah. To answer the questions in the chat, I was a barbarian and a conqueror, and now I'm not.
Mar from Sin
Janelle.
City.
Yes. Did you guys not see that coming at the end? I kind of knew what was happening, but I love the way that you said that, Kofi, and that's really interesting about like what they teach you is, these endings probably get repetitive and they happen a lot, but it's about the style, and I do agree. I think it was well done, but I kind of saw it coming. Like I kind of knew what was happening. It didn't take away from me really digging the read, though. I still love the artwork on this. It just feels so unique and different for me. It's so it's refreshing. It's like a refreshing artwork for a refreshing storyline, but it feels ancient. Like it's really got a cool feel. Yeah. since I first started, it almost feels like Egyptian or something. Like I think of like, ancient Egyptian stuff when I'm thinking of Themyscira in this, which is probably not the goal, but I feel that and I like that. I would say you guys kind of covered the storyline and what it's all about and all of that fun stuff, which I still think this is a fabulous, fabulous read, but I don't think it's my number one anymore. I think, yeah, I still enjoy it thoroughly, but I don't think it's my number one anymore.
But what's the number one?
Yeah,
you gotta tell us what the number one is.
I think Batman. How can you top it? Yeah, Kofi. Yeah. How can you top it? It's just, I don't know. I love these reads because it's a roller coaster. Like some of them get really good and then the other ones kind of chill out, and it's a great intersection of litness, like excitement and heart, and they just complement each other so well because none of them are even like the other, which is so great. This is my first time experiencing reading kind of like a grouping of these, like the absolutes all together at one time, and I'm just having a freaking blast. Like the comic book reading for me is the highlight of my week and my months. I look forward to these drops more than I do TV shows, and I'm loving it.
Man, look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Let's have a little Nori clap for that. That was good. That was good.
I thought you were about to say Absolute Martian. Is anybody reading Absolute Martian Manhunter?
We are, yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought that's kind of like because
yeah. Are you crazy? That's my jam.
Like Kofi's favorite book.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was about to ask like what everybody's favorite is, but
dude,
like my Wonder Woman has been my favorite, but like then it's like then it's Absolute Martian Manhunter, then Batman, then Superman, then Flash, then Green Lantern. So like yeah.
See, Superman and Wonder Woman constantly vie for the top spot. Those are the two books that like any given week, one could be my top just because of the stuff they're doing with those characters. And like to me, they have really fleshed out, like Batman still feels like a Batman book to me, just in an awesome, completely insane way. Like, but it still feels like thoroughly Batman. Like, I just feel like Superman and Wonder Woman are doing so much for like Kal-El and Diana and making them just,
that's a good point.
Characters just shine at the forefront.
Superman was my favorite to start, but like, didn't we talk about this?
There's no bad ones.
Don't we group together them separately? Like we kind of compare Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman together. Like we compare those three, and then we compare like the Flash,
ones.
And
they're the Trinity, right? So like I mean, it was very much, but Batman's the OG. Also, Batman next week, probably a preview of what we'll be reading next week. The annual hits. And Daniel Warren Johnson gets to write Absolute Batman. I'm like, hell to the yeah. I cannot wait for that.
My friend,
so
you have my attention now, my friend.
So let's move to Marvel because they got some stuff going on over here, even though I don't actually think we ever talked about it, but the Ultimate Universe is ending in a very controversial decision. This is finite. The Ultimate Universe will come to a close. And Ultimate Spider-Man is starting to march towards its end here at number 22. But I don't get the there's a lot of discourse about Ultimate Spider-Man where I feel like it's starting to become popular to be like, it's kind of fallen off. It's like this. I don't know what book y'all are reading. I don't know what series. I love this book. I think they continually find new ways to twist the knife and keep me guessing. And then also we just, there's just so many interesting character dynamics between everything. I love this. And this one is one of those where I'm kind of with like Janelle, like with Wonder Woman, was like, I knew a twist was coming and it then still somehow surprised me in the execution and in how that was delivered. So like, again, like, no complaints. I'm just sad that this book is going to be ending because that sucks. but I dug this. What did everybody think?
I feel like Hickman, and I'm going to keep this short, always cracks open ideas that would be so great, and then Marvel ultimately kind of steps on it, and then and then it always just starts to flail somewhere in the last third. It felt like Krakoa is like this, and now I feel like this is like this. Like, whatever your plan was, and this I think is the problem with Marvel right now, like whatever your plan was, like you should have adjusted to what this was, like the phenomenon that this was. Like you should have adjusted the plan. Like do something, bubble Spider-Man in there, just like keep going with this. But we're just following this blueprint and overarching plan, and Marvel's overarching plans just don't work right now. Like you had something, like you need to go back to the run and gun. Like we have something, this thing's cool. Take off the call it Ultimate Spider-Man. And that was a Facebook joke, but just keep with the thing that you had was going cool, because I don't think the series has fallen off. It just begins to feel like there are chunks missing. Like because we have to get to an end, we're just beginning to hop around, instead of where this story could have been cooking for so much longer and so much better. Like Peter on the Run should have been an arc. Like that should have been a whole arc. Like
and now it feels like an issue, or hey, we're moving 3 months ahead or 2 months ahead, and because we have to keep in line with the big ending to all this.
Yeah. And nobody remembers these months. None of us remember where the hell we are in the calendar, or when Iron Man is coming back, or what any of that is even about anymore. Like, who cares? That was stupid. This was great. And so the fact that we're going to wrap up this whole world like this it's dumb. Like, it really is. But even playing hop, skip, and a jump in this, like, I love this and would love to see so much more. I mean, that last panel alone is like an issue's worth of questions.
My gosh, yes.
And we don't have any more issues. Like, Felicia's whole role in this and arc feels like there should have been so much more. Like there's so, Richard, his match, like there was so much here that was just left on the table. And I think that's tragic.
It's going to be like, it's so sad to see the Ultimate Universe end in general, because there's so much like, I love Hickman's stuff, but really Denise Camp's Ultimates has been my jam. I've loved that book. The idea of like the constantly having the countdown to the Maker's return, and the ultimate doom, and like all of the world building there, and just it's gonna be so sad when this universe ends, because it is like really I don't think you'll find many people out there who don't think that this isn't the best thing that Marvel Comics has going right now, just in terms of like, you could Hickman won't be on Ultimate Spider-Man forever, and they would have had to replace him, but like I would have loved to see this universe continue, even if you had to get new people and kind of give it a fresh take and everything. But like, I'm just sad. I'm depressed.
So like comics. Yeah. So like comics. It would have been comics.
Comics.
Yeah. Yeah, Janelle, how you feeling?
Oh God, guys, I don't even know what's happening. I don't know what's going on in this. There's too much. The auto thing, being Spider-Man, like it's guys.
We're just doing Easter eggs at this point. Like that was an Easter egg to Superior Spider-Man.
As a huge Dan Slott Superior Spider-Man
There's just
mark,
so
I
much
love that.
happening. There's just too much going on for me personally to follow, and I'm a simple gal. I don't need this many. There's just so much going on. Here's the thing. I probably would have loved it, but I'm reading these absolutes and they have my full attention.
I was going to bring up I think, it's one of those things, right? Because like you were keeping up no issue with all the stuff happening in DC Absolute. And I think it's just about execution.
Yeah.
It really is about, one,
I feel like I
it
might have
feels
missed,
like there's
one.
a plan. They keep talking about this plan, but one feels like it has a plan and one does not. And so, yeah, you're keeping up with that just fine. All the weaving
That's
in
true.
and out.
That's
DC
true. That's true.
You have no problem. And this one's like, it's so much. So yeah,
it just feels so different
you.
than the Spider-Man that I know, right? So like I'm just so confused like about this. I don't know about the Peter Parker family stuff. I don't know it yet. Like I literally know like movie Peter Parker. He's a kid. He doesn't have his own kids. He's not married. Like I don't even know who's married to who at this point. Like I'm so just confused, and I feel like maybe I missed an issue or something. But I'm not really into this. I mean, flat out, and I hate saying that. I hate it because I'm not trying to rain on anybody else's parade. If you're into this, let's freaking go. I'm so glad you are. I am not the person to discuss with.
Well, look, I mean, even in the comments, like we're getting, Age of Revelation, right, is out, and that's kind of the big other event outside of Ultimate Marvel, and that's not clicking overall. But like we talked about Rogue Storm last week, and really dug
and
it.
I loved that.
Right. So again, and there's also like I think it's Omega Kids, the one that's out. That's like there's interesting ideas. So it's not like there's not cool things going on or cool ideas that are part of these things. It's just overall it's messy. It's just so messy, and it feels just very like a bunch of like companies within a company doing their own thing. That's what it, and not like, and then meeting every so often to be like, hey, here's what we're doing. Oh yeah, you're doing that. Yeah, it feels like that. Like it's just Marvel. Very, very odd. Yeah,
I think it would be really funny for Janelle to look into what's currently happening in the main Amazing Spider-Man book, where Norman Osborn is Spider-Man, Ben Reilly is Peter Parker, and Peter Parker is in outer space.
I would be so confused.
That's why we don't read that book. That's why we don't cover that book. Nah, bro. Nah. Yeah. One book I did want to mention that also came out this week, and we were talking about Absolute Superman earlier. Jason Aaron has been on a run, and Jason Aaron, thank you, Peter, for grabbing that image because I did not grab that for you. So kudos. Jason Aaron has also been doing some amazing work in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, and set up relaunched that. And that has been excellent. And by the way, if you want to see Turtles put through the ringer, my word, that thing has been Donatello's like talking to dead rats and all kinds of stuff. That is crazy. But the 12th issue, which kind of culminates the ending of this big arc, but also the creative team, because we're going to get an awesome new creative team jumping in with 13, kind of sets the stage, wraps things up, and then delivers like one of those big twists, like, hey, here you go, here's your little nugget for the next arc. This was excellent. I mean, this is just classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle goodness here. They're all interacting, like the Aaron has such a good beat on their personalities and the kind of dysfunctional family dynamic that they all have, but also inspired by, they have gone through so much over the past 12 issues that it feels fresh and unique. And then when you kind of get to this homecoming moment here, it's just like, oh, we're back home. This is awesome. This is great. And then again, sets up for the next arc. So if you are not reading TMNT, once this is out, you'll be able to grab all of it and trade until the next arc. And this has been fantastic. So don't sleep on that. Any other comics anyone wanted to hit on before I jump into the agenda real quick?
No, not for me.
I'm watching Nobody Wants This season 2, and it's great. I love Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
That's it.
So good.
It's great.
Very good. Yes. Awesome, Janelle. Good job. Yeah, that's fantastic. We're talking about Superman, so I'm just gonna close things out with Superman. So Upper Deck about last year kind of announced a big partnership with DC, and they were jumping into trading cards, games, all kinds of things, and they released their new Fleer Brilliance set, and it's all about Superman, and this goes through all the different eras. It's all trading cards based on, like, we have classic covers, we have kind of different meetings of all the different characters. You can get obviously like a Superman focused center set, and the thing about Fleer Brilliance is that they're all when you get the shinies and every other set, right, and they're all dazzling and stuff, every single card is like this in the entire set, and there's just different variations. Obviously there's inserts you can get, really cool different patterns and things like that, but every single card is a gorgeous shiny card that's just like, it's awesome. It's a really cool set, all about Superman, his all through the years. I mean, if you like Doomsday, the Death of, Reign, if you like the newer stuff, we have a lot of new things from like Joshua Williamson's run. So really cool things. Wanted to shine a spotlight on a couple here because, like, I love the classic covers, and you can see like every single one just shines. If you're watching the live show, I'm going to hold up a couple to the camera here. We have all the classic covers. We got every single, this is like a normal looking card. So like it just shines. We got Lobo, but then you got inserts. This you have all kinds of different patterns that are shining and dazzling here. One of my favorites is actually our boy Darkseid, and hopefully so each one actually has like a different like inlay, and so I'm hoping you can kind of catch that in the camera. But like each one, and they're all like different color sets. They really pop, and this one is Jamal Campbell artwork from the new Superman run. So again, like I really wanted to, if you're just a lover of all things Superman, this is a set that I think you will adore. Also, shout out to Blue. I love Lightning Blue Soups. I don't have the red to go with it. Lois Lane, this is one of the cool new inserts of kind of the world of Metropolis, but you can see like the Lois Lane is actually kind of layered on top. It's like a separate layer and pops out, and then you have all the dazzling stuff behind it. Also want to give a shout out to one of the coolest villains ever, Mr. Mitsiplik.
How do you say his name backwards? How do you say his name backwards?
I will not. Mostly because I messed it up.
It's a Pitlick.
But yes, those are in stores right now. Definitely check those out. We have a Batman metal set. I'm a big fan of DC metal from back in the day. 90s metal cards were like the thing, and so Batman metal will be coming, I believe, either later this year or early next year. So they're doing some really cool things. But look, trading cards will always be a part of my DNA. That was part of my geek journey. And so Fleer Brilliance are now in stores. You can check those out if you are a Superman fan and want to find out more. So yeah, that's my agenda this week.
Oh, that's me. I'm back.
That's
okay.
you.
Well, that's Comic Book Nation for the week. And we want to thank you guys for once again waking up and joining us on the live show. You can always download episodes of the show. We got 7 seasons of them over on your favorite podcast platforms, including Apple, Spotify, and iHeartMedia. So go check out all episodes of the pod going back all 7 years when we were younger and brighter and full of hope. But join us next week because it's Halloween. This is Halloween. So we will be back with a nice Halloween-themed episode for you. A couple tricks, a couple treats. So we look forward to seeing you guys then. We are Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture. You can read all of our work plus all of our wonderful teammates' work over on Comicbook.com. You can always talk to us, start topics for the podcast, and generally get a chat going over in the Comic Book Forum, which you can find attached to the site. We're having fun over there. We're learning a lot. We're kind of getting to meet some of you. It's kind of I thought it was just going to be extra work, but it's actually turned out to be kind of fun. So join us over there in the Comic Book Forums. We want to thank our sponsor, once again, Global Comics, who sponsored this episode, who now has Marvel, DC, all your favorite big comic publishers. Go get that gold membership started. It's 100,000 comics for the price of one. And it's full of new and classic things. So if you hear all these conversations and you want to get up on these books, Global Comics is for you. That's Global and Comics with an X at the end. All right, Matt, Janelle, Evan, thank you. I know we all got to get out of here. Thank you guys for hopping on. We will see you guys out there. We are Comic Book Nation. Peace.
Bye.
Deuces.